Hello and welcome back to our Power BI video series where we look at building some more in-depth visuals. So those are visuals with a little bit more flair. Today we're going to be building out this slicer panel over here. The slicer panel has a few kind of neat features in that it'll interact as you highlight, and then it also has a clear all button that even if the slicer is not visible will still work. So when you go ahead and you hit the clear all. Now, for those of you that don't know, Power BI actually does have a reset button right here that'll reset all slicers, but it's sometimes users like the clear all button. All right, so with that said, let's jump in. So I have this Power BI report open without the slicer panel built in. The first step in building out the slicer panel is going to be to actually build all of the slicers that we want and then to group them into groups. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to insert my slicers. If we go back, what you'll notice is that I had kind of three different categories of slicers. I had time, product, and place-based slicers. So first I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create my time-based slicers. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to double click here and I'm going to bring in my month, right? And I'll leave this one as a slider here. Maybe we'll do a little bit of a different variation. And then I'm going to copy that. I'm going to bring in my fiscal year. And then I am going to change that one to a drop down. So I'm going to go into size and style right here, or slicer settings, and change that one to a drop down. I'm going to go here and then I'm going to duplicate that and I'm going to actually insert in a quarter. So I will uncheck this. I'll bring over quarter and get rid of fiscal year. All right, so now I need to make sure that all of these are the same width and maybe not the same height, but the same width. So here we go. We have a width of 280, 280, and 280. So I'm now going to go ahead and I'm going to align these center and then I'm going to group them. So I'm going to go format and I'm going to go align center. Okay, the other thing that we need to do with all these is we need to turn off their header icons. That way when we roll over them, we don't get those going on. So I'm going to select each one of these and I'm going to type header icons. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch these off. So now that header icons are off. There we go. There's our time settings. Next, if we go back, I'm going to go and I'm going to make our product drop down. So in our product drop down, we had a category, we had color, and then we had the actual product. So I'm going to copy one of these. I'm going to go and I'm going to make my category. So I'm going to switch this out and I'm going to go into product right here. There it is. And I'm going to go ahead and go category. And I will change this style to a selector. So if we go back over here, I will change this back to a vertical list. So there's our category. So I'll make this one nice and big. And then I will bring over the color. And then finally the product right here. So I'll go ahead and I'll drop that over right here. And I don't like how this is extended. So I will go ahead and I'll bring all these up. And we'll actually start to create here our three different lists that we want to show. So here we go, there and there. And we will select all these and we will align these middle. Oh, not middle, sorry, align these center. Okay, and then on all these, we will turn off the header on them. So we'll go here, and we will go icons, right? And okay, header icons is off on that one, off on that one, and off on that one. All right, finally now we have our place slicers, which is kind of the third category. So let's go ahead and copy that. And we will now go ahead and we will change this one back down to a drop down. So we'll go back over here to slicer settings. And we'll change this to a drop down. And we will now go ahead and we will swap out the fields here. Okay, so our first one for our place is going to be our region. So we now have all of these. Oh, well, actually, let's swap out. Let's go group. Then we'll go country. Okay, and then we will go region right here. Put that one in. Okay, and we'll now get all of these nicely done. Okay, so now that we have our three groups that we want to display, we now actually have to put them together into, well, groups. So right here we have our selection. So let's first go through and let's rename these over here on the side. And if you don't have this selection panel, you can control click to get it pop out here, or you can click this customize and you can turn on selection right here. So now let's go ahead and let's get them all nice and named. So if we turn back on our selection, I'm going to do that by control clicking, and I'm going to collapse the customize piece. So here's our region. So I'm going to title this region. Right, here's our country. So I'm going to title this one country. Okay, here's our group. So I'm going to title this one group. And then let's continue on. So here's product. We'll go product. Okay. Then here's color. So we'll title this one color. And renaming these isn't necessary, but it makes it a lot easier and leads to a much cleaner Power BI report, especially as we start moving through and getting these nice and organized. So now here's our month, right? And so we'll move this one up in the layer, right? So here's month, then we'll go fiscal year, yep, and we'll have to drag this one down a little bit, and then here's fiscal quarter. Okay, so now that we have all of these, we can go ahead and we can group them. So I'm going to highlight all of them, and then I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go group, and I'm going to group these as time, and I'm going to rename this group as time. Then I'm going to select all of our product-based ones. I'm going to right-click these, I'm going to go group, and I'm going to rename these as product. Okay, then I'm going to take our region, country, and group right here, and I'm going to go ahead and copy these, and I'm going to go group, and I'm going to rename these as place. Okay. Now that I have all of these groups, what I can do is I can bring them over onto our main page where we want to create the slicer panel. So before I permanently delete it, I'm going to copy them and I'm going to paste them over here. So here now I have all of these groups. I can now go over and I can get rid of this page. I'm going to go and I'm going to go ahead and delete that. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make bookmarks that control the visibility of these various items. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to expand my bookmarks section right here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create 3 bookmarks. And I'm going to name those bookmarks for each and every single one of these places. So I'm going to create a bookmark here. I'm going to create this as time. I'm going to create a bookmark here. I'm going to name this as product. Then I'm going to create a bookmark here. And I'm going to name this as place. Okay, now on each one of these, I'm going to go through and I'm going to uncheck data. And I'm going to uncheck current page. So I only want to control place, and then I only want to control it for selected visuals. And I want to do this on all of them. So and then I'm going to go selected visuals, and this one I'm going to go selected visuals, and we'll go through and we'll just double check. So each one of these should only have display and selected visuals selected. Display and selected visuals, and we'll go up here and we'll go, this one should expect display and selected visuals. Okay, now we need to hide our groups of our slicers that these would affect. So the way we're going to do that is first we're going to go and we're going to go time. So hold the control key and select each one of these, and then we'll turn the visibility off here and hold the control key one more time. So this now should be our time. We only want time visible. So we'll go ahead and we'll update that right there. Then we'll go and we'll do the same for product and place. So let's go ahead and do that. So now we'll go product, and in product we want just product to be visible. So we will unhide that one and we'll get this, and now we will go and we'll control click again, and we'll go product and we'll go update. So now what we can do is we can click between time and product. And time, oh, we might have had it misselected here, so let's go ahead and update that one. So in time, we want time visible, so we'll update that. So now look, we can go product, time. See that? All right, so now we need to start to drag these on top of each other. So I'm going to make them all visible. And I'm going to drag this one right here, and oop, if you notice, these are all slightly too long. So we're going to have to edit the width of all of these. So let's select all of our slicers that are in our group right here. And if you notice, they all share the same width of 280. And we can drop all these down to 260. And if you notice, now they all nicely fit. So we'll keep that looking good. And so we will align right here our month, right? Then we'll go and we'll get our place. We'll align this one right on top, like that. And then we'll go here and we'll get our place right there. And we'll align this one right here on top. Okay. So now, and we'll select all these, and we'll go and we'll select them all by holding the control key, and we'll go format, align, and we'll align them all center. So that way they're all nice and aligned, and we'll control key that one, align and center. So now let's double check that our bookmarks are still working. So let's go time. If you look, only time's visible. Now we go product, only product's visible, right? And then now we need to go place. So we need to update place. So we will have only place visible. And we will go ahead and we'll control click that, go update right here. All right, so now let's click through our bookmarks and see what they look like. As you can notice, they're looking pretty good, so you can start to see this. All right, now that we have all of our bookmarks set, we now need to group them. So we can do that by holding the control key and selecting all of the bookmarks. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to go group right here. And now we're going to rename that group, and we're going to rename it slicers. Okay, and then we're going to go and we're going to do the same over here. So we'll go and we'll group these, and we will rename these slicers as well. Okay, now that we have this group, what we can now do is we can now create our navigation. So the way we can do this navigation is we can go buttons, and then we can go down to Navigator, and we can choose Bookmark Navigator. Now, Bookmark Navigator will by default include a row for every single bookmark. So like if I add another one in here, right, we'll keep on getting bookmarks. We might have other bookmarks in our report, so we don't want that. So our first step that we have to do here is we have to go and we have to go down to bookmarks right here, and instead of all, we need to set it so it only includes slicers. All right, so that will go ahead and that will start to actually kind of build out what is about to become our selector. Now you might notice it looks a little bulky here, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to fix that. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to make it so that it has a visual border. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn that on, and we are going to fill it with a light gray. And we're going to do also the same with background. So we're going to go here and we're going to fill it with a light gray. Now if we look, this still is very ugly. It still has squares. So what we're going to do is we're going to increase the rounded corners here until it is looking good. So I kind of like this one. So if we go right here, if you notice, what we now have is we now are starting to have that little pill shape that looks real classy. All right, but it's still not done. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to change the shape. So what you can do is you can search shape and it'll pop up right here. And we can expand shape right here, and we're going to turn it to a rounded rectangle. And if you notice, they'll now start to kind of fit in. So, and if you look, when we roll over, they're highlighting, but it still doesn't quite have that modern look. So let's go ahead and let's fix that. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually shrink this down a little, or bring this up a little bit, and let's go back down to that shape. And we're going to increase the corner rounding a little bit here. All right, now we need to change and make it more modern. So how do we do that? So we're going to collapse shape and style right here, and we are going to go to style. And first we're going to apply it to selected. So we're going to want it to be in bold, right? And then we are not going to want a border. So here's that. So now this should be selected and it should be in bold. So if I select time, right, we don't want a black background. So instead we're going to change this to white, and we're going to change our font to black. So now we have time, nice, and selected. But we don't want product and place to have the same. So let's go ahead and let's fix that. So let's select here. And we will change default first. And now we're going to change it to a bold instead. And then we're going to turn off fill right here. So now when we have time selected, give me 1 second, selected, we need to turn on fill. So we'll turn on fill right here, selected, and then, come on, control click right there. And sometimes this Bookmark Navigator gets a little wonky here. So we want fill off on default. And then we want hover. Well, actually, let's turn default. Let's turn this to a light gray right here. So we'll go 50% darker right here. And then we'll turn our hover onto a black. So we'll go black right here. So that way as we roll over them, they hover, right? And then we will turn our press. We could almost go red. So that way we go red, but instead we'll do another like flash of black. So when we click them right here, they go through. So if we hold the control key and click that, we can start to see our lights are working. All right, so now we need to choose our selected. So let's go back into our selected right here. And let's see if we can get this fill working. So right now, none of these are selected. And let's fiddle with this. And this is where sometimes Power BI gets a little funky. So we're going to have to kind of fiddle here. So time, product, place. And if you notice, it's not actually navigating to our slicers here. And we need to probably go ahead and we need to actually update this. So there's time, product. All right, so we need to update these since we grouped them. So product needs to be this one. All right, well, this is actually place right here. So we'll update this one to be place. So we'll go update. Okay, and then we need to update our product, right? So close this one, close this one. All right, and now we'll update our product right here, and then we'll update our time right here. So we'll control click all these and update our time. And now let's go and fiddle our pill. So let's go right over here and let's go back into our style. And we'll go default, we'll go white fill, right? And then we'll go selected, and we'll turn off or turn our transparency to 100%. Okay, well that is, so let's go back to default and we'll turn our transparency to 100%. All right, there we go. So now what we're starting to do is we're starting to have that pill come through. So let's control click there. And if you look, we're starting to actually have that nice slicer panel built out. All right, so what do we have left? We now have to build, if we go and we look at kind of our original one, we now have to build the little text box right up here, and then we have to do our button right here. So Power BI does have a clear all slicers button. The problem is that button will only clear all slicers or only clear all slicers and only clear the slices of the slicers that are visible. We want to have a slicer that clears all slicers kind of regardless of if they're visible. So what we need to do is we actually need to create a bookmark where we don't have anything applied. So let's go ahead and let's do that. So let's go through and make sure that all of our slicers are visible right here, and let's add a new bookmark, and we're going to call this clear all. And what we're going to have this do is we're going to only have this one affect the data of the selected visuals. So now that I have that, we're going to highlight this so we have everything selected. So we'll control click, and we'll go ahead and we will update this to include clear all. All right, so now let's see what this is looking like. If we go to one of our slicers, so like let's go back over here. If we now go to clear all, look, it's nice and cleared. All right, so now we need to insert a button and style it to go to that. So I'm going to go and I'm going to insert a blank button. Here it is. I'm going to put the text and the style. So first I'm going to go through and I'm going to set the action here. And I'm going to set this action as go to bookmark. And the bookmark that it's going to go is going to be to clear all. And then I'm going to turn the tooltip off. And the tooltip is what happens is when you roll over it, it tells you to control click. You can set like a custom message here. I'm going to just turn it off. So that way when I roll over it, there isn't anything coming up. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for text right here. And let's just see if we can set that clear all text. Double click in it. And let's go through. Sorry, my screen just changed. So that caught my attention. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to actually go and set the rounded quarters. So I'm going to go rounded, and I'm going to increase this. So that way we have that. And then instead of text, I think it's called label. Here. I don't want to add a visual label. So let's go figure out where we add in that text for the button. So there's our action. It's going to go to bookmark, and then we don't want to rotate it. Here's our text, so we're going to turn that on, and our text is going to be clear all slicers. And we're going to set this to black, and let's just see if that is working, and it does not seem to be, so let's go back. Oh, that is on press, so we want to set this on default. We want it to be clear all slicers. There we go. And if you notice, look, we set all those settings on press, right? So we need to go through and we need to fix that. So let's go ahead and let's change this to default, and let's go and we'll change our shape to 25 pixels, what I think we had. And we'll confirm that. So let's go 25 pixels. So we'll go there, and if you look, see, look, it's turning, when we click, it's going bold. So let's go ahead and let's also fix that. So I'll go default, and I'll go bold, and I'll go font color. We'll go like a really like dark, but then when you click it, so on press, we'll go like a black. So now when you go and you control click, oh, and you feel like I capitalized all. So let's go fix that. So let's select this button right here, and oof, on press was 46. We'll change that to 25, which is what I think we had over here. And we'll update this, so this is all caps. There we go, and then we'll set the border to a nice black right here, default, and we'll go on press. We'll also go through and we'll set your border to black. So now when you control click that, you can see it's starting to work. All right, so now finally, let's go ahead and let's insert our text box. So we're going to do that by going up here, and we're going to go and we'll go slicers. And we will set this to a nice bold. So we'll highlight it and we'll go bold. And we will increase the font size probably to like a 12 or maybe a 14. And we'll go over here and we'll go and then this is one of the ones where it's a little tricky because we're going to want to move this down below. So here we can use the size and positioning. So we'll go ahead and we'll lower this down. Oh, I'm actually adjusting the height, not over. So we'll go ahead and we'll go this up, and then we'll go down right here. Sorry, down. That's the horizontal. So we'll set you to 90. Let's go 70. I'm just typing in now. Nope, that's not quite right. So we'll go 60, 55 maybe. Okay, and then we'll go our vertical. So I want to increase to get it to go down. So we'll set this to 130. 140 maybe. Nope, not quite there. Let's go 150. All right, so that's looking, we'll go 160. There we go. That's almost exactly where I want it. And then our horizontal will decrease this down to 50. That's still not quite there, so we'll go 45. Nope, we'll go 40. 35. 30. All right, there we go. Okay, so here is our nice slicers panels, but one last thing I'm noticing, right, is if you notice here, the order is done. So we'll put this down below. So there's our text box. Here's our Bookmark Navigator, and then we'll change this, and we'll update this to slicers, and we'll update this to clear all. Okay, now let's go ahead and let's publish this and just test it to make sure that it's working the way we want it to. So I'm going to go home, I'm going to go publish, and I'll hit save, of course, and I will just publish this up into my workspace. And once this opens, we'll open it and we'll test it out in the web browser. So we're going to let it load, we'll open it, and let's test it in right here. All right, so here is our slicer. So we can see that it's working as we roll over it, so that's good. And we'll make sure that the product's working, yep, and the place is working. And then we'll make sure that when we apply a specific time, so let's shrink, for example, let's shrink this down, and let's shrink this down. Right, you can see, so that's working. Our fiscal year, right, there's nothing coming up. So we'll go through. All right, and I don't love actually this month style, so I'm going to quickly go ahead and fix that, but let's test our clear all slicers, and look like that, it just worked. All right, so let's go and quickly update that slider style, so it's just a drop down. So I'm going to go in here to my time, and this is why it's good to name things. I'll go to month, and I'll highlight it, and I'll change it from a between to a drop down. And then in this right here, I will go ahead and I will update this. So I'll go over here, and then I'll move my fiscal quarter up. All right, and I don't like the way that this one looks, so I'll go and I'll select my month. And let's go there. And then we will control these and we'll align them center. Format, align, align center. All right, so now let's just test this right before we go. As you can see, that's looking good. So now let's hit save and let's publish this up one more time. And once we have this uploaded, hopefully we will be at our final product. All right, so let's open this up. And let's give this a test. Okay, so we've got the hovering, right? So that's working good. We have the time, so we can now select one of these, and we can select one of these. We can go in, we can select our color, and we can select our place right here, and then we can go back to time. And if you notice, our report is interactive. All right, so that is how you build a slicer panel. And if you notice, finally, our clear all slicers. But if you notice that, look, it changed the style back with the clear all slicers button. And that's because I didn't appropriately update the bookmark here. So let's fix that one last time. So let's control click all these. And we'll go update here. And that's because it's changing the data for the selected visuals. So we'll go update here. And let's just test this. So let's go month. Let's go here and then clear all. All right, perfect. That's working. All right, well, that is how you build out a slicer panel. If you have any questions, and I realize my video is kind of covering some of the settings, so if you want to know the settings or if you have any additional questions, let me know in the comments. If not, thank you for watching. Bye.